Howdy folks, Brother Jim reporting here at End Times Prophecy News. It begins. A Virginia judge rules no guns are allowed at the pro-gun rally in the open carry state of the Commonwealth of Virginia. And Trump sounds alarm on the 17th yesterday on Virginia Democrat extremism. They will take away your guns. Listen to what Trump said in a tweet yesterday. Your Second Amendment is under very serious attack in the great Commonwealth of Virginia. That's what happens when you vote for Democrats. They will take away your guns. Republicans will win Virginia in 2020. Thank you, Dems. Listen to that last part. Republicans will win Virginia in 2020. Once again, they've gone ballistic, huh? And Virginia State Senator warns, I want you to be aware of how we are being set up. First, a brief excerpt from this one. Democrats took over both chambers of the Virginia legislature in November, and as expected, they're pushing anti-gun laws through quickly as possible. On Thursday, lawmakers in the state Senate passed the first pair of bills in a wave of gun control legislation that is set to come up for votes. One bill would restore the state's previous one handgun a month rule, while the second would allow local governments to ban guns in public buildings, parks, and at permitted events, including political protests. The vote was straight party line 21-19, totally partisan, huh? Democrats have also proposed an assault weapons ban, red flag laws, and universal background checks. Governor Ralph Blackface Northam immediately banned all guns ahead of Monday's pro-gun rally, citing credible and serious threats. Virginia is an open carry state, meaning residents don't even need a concealed carry permit, but can rather just wear a gun openly. We have no intention of calling out the National Guard, Northam said. We're not going to cut off people's electricity. We're not going to go door to door and confiscate people's weapons. We're going to pass common sense legislation that will keep guns out of dangerous hands and keep Virginia safer. Sounds good, but not true at all. No, what you have is a dangerous ingredients of a nasty cocktail forming at this rally right here. It's a setup. On top of that, Antifa, who beats up patriots and hates Trump and calls themselves anti-fascists but are actually fascists, they have showed up at many rallies with open guns. So you're going to have Antifa there going in to this rally that is actually fenced up, penned up like a bunch of people in prison. Can you believe this? This is what they're doing, the city is doing. A Virginia judge on Thursday ruled that firearms ban can remain in place during the pro-gun rally on the Capitol grounds in Richmond. Thousands are expected to attend. Gun rights advocates appealed the ruling. Without relief from this court, petitioners and thousands of others rally participants will be irreparably denied their right to bear arms. Unconstitutional. The group's attorneys argued in their appeal, but Virginia Attorney General Mark Herring on Friday urged the state Supreme Court to reject the appeal. Another deep state plant there. But the plaintiffs argued the firearms ban violates the First and Second Amendments. Very true, and that Northam didn't have the authority to impose it. According to the Associated Press, Judge Joy Taylor said in her ruling the governor has the authority under state law to take action related to the safety and welfare of the state. No, he does not have the authority to take away your constitutional rights. Taylor also cited rulings from the U.S. Supreme Court that the right to bear arms can be subject to limits. Yes, but that has nothing to do with taking it away all the way. With Democrats in control of both legislative chambers, Republicans can do little but complain. Ladies and gentlemen, this is probably the first assault on the Second Amendment, and we're going to see many after that, said Republican Senator Bill Stanley. He argued that the bill giving localities control over guns in public spaces would create little pockets here and there where guns are good and guns are bad. And we move on to Trump sounds alarm yesterday on Virginia Democrat extremism. They will take away your guns. Trump took to Twitter on Friday to raise awareness about the extreme anti-freedom proposals that Virginia Democrats are pushing in their state, which have included the possibility of gun confiscation. Your Second Amendment is under very serious attack in the great Commonwealth of Virginia, Trump tweeted. That's what happens when you vote for Democrats. They will take your guns away. Republicans will win Virginia in 2020. Thank you, Dems. Trump's tweet comes as an uprising to the Democrats' anti-Second Amendment agenda has swelled across the state as the majority of cities. It is quite stupid of them to do this, with Mr. Blackface, Ralph Northam, exposed as a racist and black slave owner from his ancestors, his family. Yes. But the truth is, there was not one Republican slave owner 150 years ago. Nope, they were all Democrats. So what is Ralph Northam? A rhino Republican in name only. The grassroots resistance to Virginia Democrats' extreme anti-Second Amendment agenda has exploded as nearly 90% of the counties in the state have declared themselves to be sanctuary cities in response to the Democrats' anti-freedom agenda. And these are sanctuary cities for the Second Amendment, the opposite of the opposite of what California has and New York, sanctuary cities and states for illegal aliens. Quote, more than 100 cities, towns, and counties have passed resolutions in preparation for Democrats taking over the state who had indicated a desire to confiscate semi-automatic firearms from law-abiding citizens. During a cabinet meeting in November, Northam mentioned universal background checks, banning the sale of semi-automatic firearms and high-capacity magazines, restoring the law that limits purchases to one gun a month, and a red flag law that would empower a court to temporarily remove a gun from a person deemed to be a risk to himself or others. That could be anybody. If there's no rule of law as to what you've done, I guess the police officer just, we don't like you. We will at least start with those, Northam said. At least. When asked about confiscating guns from law-abiding citizens, Northam responded, that's something I'm working on with our Secretary of Public Safety. You see? It's all coming, and Trump is right. And we move on to Virginia State Senator warns, I want you to be aware of how we are being set up. This is very true. Virginia Senator Amanda Chase on Facebook today, which was yesterday. Sadly, I am posting this knowing that the governor of Virginia has declared a state of emergency in our state. I want you to be aware of how we are being set up. Does the Patriot Act ring a bell? Does the National Defense Authorization Act ring a bell? If people showing up wearing any kind of uniform, patch, or other symbol on their clothing signifying they belong to a militia and something goes wrong, you will be held as a domestic terrorist. If anyone steps out of line, all it takes is one person. It may even be a government plant. If that plant does anything to disrupt the rally, you will be arrested as a domestic terrorist. The governor, using the media, has already set the stage for this to happen. He has already laid the groundwork to make the entire movement look like an insurrection. It will be used to put the rest of the nation on notice of what will happen to you if you resist, and what will happen in 2020. They will vote Republican. Oh, I have big proof of that. Guess what happened at Donald Trump's last rally? 50% of attendees didn't even vote for him, and they were Democrats. Can you believe this? I reported how it went from 11, 14, 19, 24%. It's now half of his rally used to be Democrats. Wow. You'll see that later today. This is amazing. Trump is really making America great again. Back to the story. They have used the Southern Poverty Law Center over the last 15 years to lay the groundwork, she says. They have labeled us as potential domestic terrorists for a long time now. Yeah, Obama. Especially Obama. Anyone who has ever related to a 3%ers, a militia, or just belonged to any patriot group, the groundwork has been laid to brand you as a domestic terrorist. They have gone out of their way since the Obama years to ensure they had us labeled, but it didn't start with Obama. It started with the Patriot Act under the Bush administration, who was a rhino, Republican in name only. We are being well played by a well-oiled machine. These things have been in the works for many years. They're kicking things into high gear now. Oh yeah, I've been telling you that for a long time. Military veterans are even listed as potential domestic terrorists. Very true. And we were told not once but several times by the current president, it's not me they are after, it's you, the American people. Their actions over the last 3 years have shown you he was right. They are coming after us full speed ahead, and they aren't even trying to hide it anymore. Sic semper tyrannis. Keep your head on a swivel and know what's going on around you at all times at Lobby Day, January 20th, 2020. In just 2 days, we'll see what happens. But this is a cocktail that's going to very well turn into a big fiasco in the end for Democrats. But first, we got to listen to the fake news push their agenda, and they're gonna demonize you. They're gonna call you domestic terrorists. They're gonna say that these Trump people are crazy and violent because they're gonna set us up. She's right. They've set us up, and now they're going for the full takedown. But it's not going to work. They're all going to be voted out in 2020. Not all, but we will have majority of Republicans in Virginia once again. Thank you for listening.